I am setting up this video with footage from my arriving in the Charlotte area to drop off freight that originated out of the Charleston area. The run was, according to the map, exactly 198 miles. I had an opportunity to stop off at the Geezer compound because Geezer compound is the midpoint, but also because the broker also forwarded the airbill documents that need to be printed out, and I can do that from the Geezer compound. So this is the backdrop of this video, and it actually leads into what I really wanted to talk about, and that is, so you want to build a six-figure business, namely delivery and transport business. I'm going to share just some things that I think that will be helpful in putting you in the right direction. All right, so it is 5:20 in the morning, April 1st, 2025. And I'm here kind of backed up to the American Airline cargo terminal because I am dropping off this parcel, this package, this box that originated from North Charleston, South Carolina. And I was surprised at getting, or at least booking, this brokered opportunity because, number one, it was at nighttime, like 9 o'clock, and depending on load board, there's not much out there. There really isn't anything out there. But on this particular occasion, last night, March 31st, 2025, there were 3 opportunities out there, and I went after this one. Actually, it was about 8 o'clock or so last night there were some opportunities out there, and this one asked for if you had a TWIC, Transportation Worker Identification Card, something that I've talked about in past segments of the Gig Geezer, and TSA 9 certification. And I mentioned about TSA 9 certification is where you actually show where you go through a training portal and then answer at least 7 out of 10 questions correctly to be certified. And TSA means what is it, Transportation Safety Administration, if memory serves me correct. So they asked for that credentialing, and I put in for what I put in, which was for this particular broker high. But the question they asked me was, well, who's the driver? And I said, me. I put in my email reply myself, and then myself as the dispatcher, and I put in my company name. And after that, they sent me a link to there's two portals that somewhat keep up with that actually kind of onboard drivers, or if you will, they're like clearing houses. One of them is Registry Monitoring Insurance Services, and then the other is Go Highway. RMIS is the easier of the two. RMIS, I've never had any issue being onboarded, because this is the one that I once described, whereby you go on a broker's for a broker's carrier package, and you put in your MC number, your motor carrier number, or your USDOT number. Most times you put in your MC number, and then it will verify if this is your business, and then it will pretty much it will go through your entire USDOT profile that you complete when you apply for a DOT number. And in that process, it will say pass, or pass, fail, or fail, whatever it is. The main thing is going to be whether you pass in terms of the minimum time that your authority is active, and that you meet the minimum requirements for carrying insurance. Those are the main ones. On Go Highway, it does the same thing, but the catch is, if you're operating a sprinter/cargo van, you have to have the broker to override the system, because the system on Go Highway is set up more so for those who operate larger equipment, namely box trucks, flatbeds, and then your tractor trailers. Because when you use box trucks, flatbeds, and tractor trailers, you're supposed to have, you're supposed to either take, ideally, but here's the options. Either you're going to keep a log of your time in service, because the USDOT or the FMCSA requires you to be, you could be 14 hours on, but then 10 hours off within a 24-hour period. The electronic logging device, the ELDs, is what keeps up with that. In fact, if somebody were to be pulled over by a state transportation police or DOT, they're going to ask for your log or your ELD. So that's one. Those are a couple of things but that's all. But the main thing is that Go Highway is more so geared towards the larger equipment. And so if you have a sprinter/cargo van, as I've already mentioned, you'd have to get the broker to override that, and they overwritten that last night as well. They were really determined to get me booked for this opportunity. I've had in the past where brokers, that's where it ended, and I missed out on the opportunity because of Go Highway. And I've called Go Highway about that shit, and Go Highway they don't have an answer. They just don't have a fucking answer. So anyway, I know that I've talked for about 10 minutes, and I've kind of buried the lead with this particular segment of the Gig Geezer. But I just had to give you some backdrop as to why am I doing it here in this van at nighttime and all. And actually, one of the things that I wanted to talk about in building a six-figure business is that you got to be willing to put in the time. You got to be willing to put in the effort. And this is just as good as an example. This is the second time within the past week in which I've done brokered opportunity, driving in the middle of the night, basically, on basically little to no sleep, and so then you're questioning my sanity as to why am I doing it. Well, I've done a lot of night driving opportunities, and so I kind of understand where my limitations are. I got here early enough, not so much just to do this segment of the Gig Geezer, but really to cop a snooze, because apparently the air cargo place isn't going to open up until like 6 o'clock, I think, at the earliest. It could be 7 o'clock, but based on the stipulations that the broker had, it was need to be here by 6 o'clock. So I'm here. Well, it is easy to say that, I mean, doing this type of work is not going to be likened to your 9 to 5, your 8 to 5, your 10 to 6, 10 to 7s, where you're doing W2 shift work. Your money opportunities come up when they come up. I know for myself, one of the casualties of my pursuit of earning more money, my pursuit of really doing this delivery and transport space, was bowling, because because of the unpredictability, at least in my because of the unpredictability of my business model, in that you just don't know when your money opportunity calls. It's hard for me to commit to a certain regimen of practice each week, when because I used to practice like in the afternoon, anywhere between 4 and 6 o'clock in the afternoon, usually between Monday through Thursday. Not every day, but at least twice a week I would practice. And if I were bowling in a gig, I would bowl a third time. So I may practice Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. Somehow I'd put in a third day, an extra day, in getting ready for a tournament. That hasn't happened since 2021. About the time when I realized, well, I'm the type of money that I'm making and the commitment that I was putting forth. So, as with anything, when you're pursuing something that you feel that is worth your while, or something that you can see where you can get something out of it, there are things that you may give up in that pursuit. And again, for me, it was bowling. The thing is that again, you put in the time. There's no predictability in the time of your opportunities. Now, if you're working gig apps, gig app opportunities show up at all hours of the night. This opportunity here, the one for Dallas, which was a gig app based, that appeared at like 4 in the morning. 4 in the morning, and I was actually working a box truck when on a load board based opportunity when that appeared. Now, what happened was, apparently I was not assigned that opportunity at 5 o'clock in the morning, but somehow a few hours later, I was assigned it, and I went on and earned $2,750 because of that. You may have brokered opportunities that may require you getting up at 2-3 o'clock in the morning because of where you're going. I've had that happen where well, usually when it's like that, it's something similar to this, where you pick up the day before, and then it has to be somewhere at like 7, 8 in the morning, and so you may have to get up early enough to get there on time. What else? Now, when you think about earning 6 figures, you look at the numbers and you say, damn, I mean, it sounds like it's attainable. I mean, 6 figures, that's $100,000 a year at a minimum. That's $8,333 a month. That is $1,983 and change a week. That is $275 a day, 7 days a week. It sounds attainable. It really does. But then when you start working towards it, it's not as easy as it sounds, because so much is unpredictable. Now, I know that there's the argument about contracts. Yes, contracts offer you a certain degree of a certain measure of stability. And depending on your contractor contracts money, it could put you in a position where you're there. But I would venture to say that if you got a contract that's paying that type of money each week or month, then they're looking for more than what you're probably bargaining for, because they can always find somebody for less. I've talked about this before. This is not the first time I've mentioned it. But that type of money, buddy, you best to be available and dependable, because as soon as you aren't, that's when that company could make a decision that would not be in your favor. But yeah, let's presume contracts. It's possible. It is possible. I mean, look, if you do a route opportunity, here's the thing with many of those. I've seen them advertised at anywhere between $800 and $1,500 a month. And if you're able to find one that's paying $1,500 a month, that's going to put you 3/4 of the way there. $1,500 a month. $1,500 a week. $1,500 a week is going to put you at $78,000. That's a little more than 3/4 of the way there, almost 80% of the way there. That's 77% of the way there. Anyway, it's over 75%, not quite 80% of the way there. Then you got to make up the difference. Just assuming if you had a contract that paid $1,500 a week. But if you don't have a contract, then you're out there like a true hunter. You eat what you kill. That's what I do. I don't have a contract. I've never had a contract. And so I have to be motivated to get out there every day, or each day. I have to be motivated to get out there the days that I go out there. Now, typically the type of week that I put in most weeks now, it's either 5 to 6 days I put in. I've had some weeks where I've made my money early in the week, like between Monday and Wednesday, and then may put in a half a day and then don't go back out for the remainder of the week. It has happened. But those weeks are not as frequent. What is a likely week for me is, as I mentioned, where I'm putting in 5-6 days a week. Last month I didn't go out. I did not have to work, or I did not work 7 days. And I would say that's about average. That's been about average this year. December was a fairly busy month, but I missed a number of days, in part for a lot of reasons. But I had a rather, dollar-wise, I had a rather productive month but I didn't go out like 10 days that month. And that's a lot of days that I didn't go out. But again, there's reasons. Part of them were medical, because time spent in the hospital, and then afterward, I kind of, and then there's the holidays too. There's the holidays in December. So, I know that I've talked now for about 20 minutes or so, and this is fairly long, but I hope that you're getting something out of it. I hope that you're getting something out of it, that you see that six-figure business is not all what it's cracked up to be. Yes, the numbers sound very, very attractive, but there's a lot that goes into it. You have to be mindful of money management. When you're in terms of money management, one of the things that kind of keeps you on track is understanding your outlays, your expenditures. I've talked about in various segments of the Gig Geezer about your breakpoint, and that's calculating the intersection of your expenses versus your income. At some point, these are your expenses, but at some point you want your income, as you're building up your operations, to intersect somewhere, and that intersection is your breakpoint. That is the number that breakpoint, that intersection, is the minimum money that you have calculated you need to earn each month to cover everything. Most of your business expenditures, but definitely what goes on in your household, and that includes your rent, whatever vehicle notes or lights and phone and all those things. That's where that intersection comes in, and that was one of the things that I figured out early on, upon taking ownership and operation of this Sprinter/cargo van. I looked at what was going out, what was likely to go out, and then I started anticipating based on, and the thing that helped me out was having a running start, so to speak, with earning money doing gig work, and then transitioning from working on the F-150 into the van. I had somewhat of a running start, at least understanding where do I need, what is it, if I'm here with what I'm earning, what all do I need to do to get here, and then kind of anticipate when could it happen. And for me, as I shared, I anticipated that it would take me a good 6 to 8 months, and I hit that intersection, that break point, somewhere around month 7. And for the most part, I've not looked back. But 6 figures, what gets you to 6 figures? Oh yeah, you could talk about desire, and you can talk about faith and believing in yourself. I'm not discounting it, but at the same time, when you're out there are other things that you're thinking about other than believing in yourself and faith. That's just been my experience. What I'm thinking about is what's going to get me there. So that break point is important in terms of giving you some type of dollar amount to work towards, but then you have to figure out what is it that you're going to do. I keep saying this. What is it that you're going to do? What is your strategy? What is going to get you there? What is it that you're going to do to get there? At least, what is it that you're going to do to start out, and then what is it that you're going to do as you get further into what you're doing? What adjustments are you going to make to get where you want to be? These are things that only you can answer. So I know that I've talked now for about close to 25 minutes, and I still have the office, the cargo building still hasn't opened up and all, but I did want to start this conversation. About 6 figures, and I'll probably carry it on in this week's live stream, in which I'll be talking to you. I'll be speaking with you again. I have a guest lined up for next week, April 9th, 2025, but none this week. I did not make any effort to try to get somebody on this week, and so we'll have another free game night, and I'll be looking to have a conversation with you. And again, my live stream, I'm speaking, is on Wednesday nights at 9 o'clock Eastern. And I'll be looking forward to y'all joining a damn conversation with me. And so with that, that's all I have to share for this segment of the Gig Geezer. If you like the content that's been provided in this segment or in any other segment, hit that subscribe button. Give my content a thumbs up. Share my content among others, and I definitely welcome your comments in the section below. I'm in Wood Lane. As always, may your grind and may your hustle continue.